to GOlive TV, the future in your hands. The only multicultural IPTV station that brings communities together. Over 2.7 million people have already watched. GOlive TV, anytime, anywhere.
Hello, and welcome to Holy TV. Holy stands for Heal Our Land Yahweh, and Yahweh in Hebrew means God. And we are here to make this world a better place. And first off, we'd like to acknowledge this land. The land that we're standing on is the land of many, it's a traditional land of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Chippewa, the Anishinaabe, the Wendat peoples, and Haudenosaunee. And also now it is territory of many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also like to acknowledge that this land and Toronto has signed a treaty with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and also the Williams Treaties that signed with multiple Mississauga and Chippewa bands. And since Holy TV has been birthed on March 12th of this year, and this is actually a 9th episode, we'd like to know a little bit more about the host, not me, the other host, the main guy, because we don't know much about him yet. So let's welcome to the stage the servant of God, the king of inspiration, and the community activist, Powerful Steve.
Thank you very much for such a warm welcome, Irina.
I guess I don't have to welcome you to the show because this is your show.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And if I really mess up, I guess I'll be firing myself.
All right. I'm sure you'll do fine. All right, so Powerful Steve, why Holy TV? Please tell us about it, how the show was birthed.
Well, essentially, I came here at the studio to actually help out a friend, and it turned out that I had the opportunity to do some live action on the stage, and so the founders, Dr. Benjamin and Julius, they came to me and they said that, you know, you have a presence on the camera, and so do you have something to put on TV? Now, at that point, I didn't have anything to put on TV, but I said, yes, I do. And then so afterwards, I called up Mama June, my mom, and I called up a friend and a niece, and I said, listen, we have an opportunity to put something on TV. What are we gonna do? Now, I remembered that when I was going to visit my mother, there was this lady that was standing outside of the building, and she kind of had her back turned to me. But because of the clothes that she was wearing, I surmised that she's actually going to church. And so I walked up to the lady, and I said to her, blessings. Now, the lady, she turned around, and she saw that I was like 3 feet from her, and she sprinted away from me. And I was like flabbergasted because I'm saying, holy, like, she ran away from me like I was holding a gun in her face. And it was at that moment, Irina, I recognized that COVID-19 has actually changed our culture. So I was telling Mama June about this, and I said, I want to put a show out there that can help people get back to a place of connectivity. Because I spent that day looking for people shaking hands or giving a high five or even giving a hug. And I couldn't find it, Irina. It literally wasn't there. And so I realized that COVID-19 has changed our culture, and the human condition is to connect. And so I said, we got to put some kind of show on TV to help people to get out of their comfort zone, get out of their isolation, and come back to a place of harmony and connectivity, which is reality.
Wow, wow, very true, very true. And one big lesson from what you just said earlier, big life lesson for everybody out there. Say yes first Commit first
Ah.
and figure it out later.
Say yes first and commit later. There you go.
That's right. Well, commit first and figure it out
Yes,
later.
and figure it out later. Gotcha.
Awesome, awesome. So, can we get a little personal?
Mm-hmm.
Are you married, single? Do you have kids? What's going on?
Oh, I do not tell, Queen Eye. Yeah, I've been married for 32 years to the same woman.
Wow.
Yes, and I have 8 children.
Oh my
Right.
God.
Yep, and I have to say that one is in heaven. Elijah's in heaven, so I have 6 here on earth. 4 boys, 4 girls, and yeah, so that's yeah.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a lot of children.
Yes, it is. My quiver
Very
is
interesting.
full.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. And so let me ask you, how did you discover your heritage?
Yes. Well, first of all, I was born in Montego Bay, Jamaica. I was raised in Canada. I actually came here when I was 6 years old. I could still remember that first day coming off coming out of the airport and actually sprinting to the taxi cab because it was in the month of March and it was cold. And that was the first time that I realized that air can bite you. That was my description of feeling the cold for
Welcome
the
to
first time.
Canada.
Yes, and so back in 2004, I really discovered my heritage, but it really started, it's a little bit of a long story, so just bear with me. It really started when I was a young boy, before I was a teenager. I would say somewhere around 11, 12. I watched this show called Roots by Alex Haley. And because of that show, I just kind of looked up to heaven and I said to God, who am I? Right? And, I forgot about it. I wanted to know who am I, and I forgot about it. Fast forward now, I went to visit a friend in Ohio, and there was a preacher that came from Africa. His name was Ohanabu. And so we went down to hear him speak, and after he spoke and everything, we were from Canada, so we had nowhere to go in a hurry. So we stuck around, and through sticking around, he came out and he started to talk to us. And through the conversation, he invited me to Africa. And I'm going, are you serious? He said, yes, I want you to come to Africa, and I will send you a plane ticket. I go, you're going to have me come to Africa, and you're going to send me a plane ticket? And he goes, not only that, we own a hotel, so your accommodations will be taken care of as well. Hey, you can't say no to an offer like that. And true to his word, he sent the invitation letter, and he sent the plane ticket and all that stuff, and I'm on my way to Nigeria. Okay, and so there it is. We get to the airport, and they said, okay, now we got a 2-3 hour journey, jump in this van, and we're driving, and trust me when I tell you, you learn to respect the roads of Canada. I am telling you, Irina, it was so bumpy. I mean, up and down, 3 hours. I was feeling like the donkey from Shrek. Are we there yet? But finally, we got to the destination, and now this is where it gets really spiritual now. Because as I stepped out of the van and my foot was on the land for the first time, the presence of God hit me. I mean, the power of God hit me, and it actually caused me to spin around. And then I kind of ran towards the door of the hotel, and then I spun around again, and I had a vision. And what I saw was the roots from the ground came out of the ground, and it wrapped around my legs, and then it sprung me up into the sky, and then my hands went like this, and then branches started to just come from all over me. And would you believe, I was now a part of this massive tree over the land. And then the Lord spoke to me, and he said, when you're a young child, you ask me, who am I? And he says, you are Nigerian, and you come from a tribe called Igbo. And the land in which you stand on is the land of your ancestors. No word of a lie. That is actually how I discovered my heritage.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love Africa. I heard a lot of stories that when people go to Africa, they have this amazing spiritual experiences.
Yeah.
It's a very special place, and I'm just hoping one day soon I'm gonna
Queen
be
Eye,
able to
it
go.
has changed my life. It literally has changed my life.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are some of the challenges that you faced in Canada?
Well, coming from, pretty well all black country, no, it's not all black, but you get my point. The first challenge I faced was racism. I landed on the shores of Canada, and my parents chose the city of Brampton. Little did they know at the time that in the 60s, just as far back, we're here 1971, and just in the 60s, it was literally a KKK town. It was just all Caucasians and very racist, and they didn't want any African culture in the city, and so there was fights and there was gang warfare. When I talk about gang, I'm not talking about the Crips and the Bloods. I'm talking about the blacks against the whites. There wasn't a lot of black people at the time, and so we kind of stuck together, and it got really serious where there was a serious fight and one of our friends got injured. Like literally, ambulance had to come and pick him up. Like he damaged his back in one of the fights, and my parents got scared for us, and so they decided to move out to a smaller community called Cambridge. Cambridge was, quiet country folk. It was still all Caucasians, but the violence level wasn't there.
Wow, that's very sad to hear.
Yeah.
So how did you overcome that?
Very interesting question, Irina. In Jamaica, I was a social butterfly. I was, I had a lot of friends, young kid climbing trees and all that stuff. Coming to Canada, all of a sudden now, I didn't have any friends because they didn't want to be your friend because of the color of your skin, right? And it was coming from their parents. And so I became an introvert now, and quiet and reserved and so forth. And so there wasn't a lot of playing activities on the playground and stuff like that. And so my grade 3 teacher, Mr. Nichols, God rest his soul, he's long gone now, he recognized that I was off to the side and the only black kid in the class and things like that. And so one day he brought me in and he started to talk to me. Now, at first, I wasn't comfortable. Why? Because he was white. At this particular point in my life, Irina, I wasn't really receiving any, positive things coming from a Caucasian. So he's my teacher and that was it. But he was reaching out to me. I know he was reaching out to me, but I wasn't really interested. But through the process of time, I warmed up to him, and he then says, I want to teach you a poem, right? And I said, okay, it was something to do. It kept my mind active and things like that. And now that he gave me the script, now I want to learn it. Like it was tantalizing my mind. And so I took the time and I learned the poem that he gave for me. And then he said something. He said, now you're going to go in front of the class and you're going to say it in front of the class. Do you know what I said to him? Hell no. Well, I didn't actually use those words then, but you get my point, right? I didn't want to have anything to do with it. So that's it, yeah.
So at the age of 8, you learned a poem. Do you still remember it?
Yes, I do, actually. I actually do remember the poem.
All right. Well, if you guys like to hear the poem Powerful Steve learned, can you put your hands together? Would you like to hear it? That's right. Yes, we'd love to hear it.
Okay, all right. So now I'm 57 years old, guys, so I'm going to be doing it with a little more animation than, when I learned it at first, because you got to remember, at age 8, I was this scared black child about to go on stage for the first time and speak to my classmates, but at that time, they were my enemies, right? So here it is. It's called Jonathan Bing. I actually don't know the author of it, but I thank Mr. Nichols for doing this. So let me hear you guys say, stay in school and learn to rule. Awesome, because it ain't cool to quit school. You see, I had this friend. His name was Jonathan Bing. And Jonathan Bing, he never liked school. Matter of fact, he's what you call a ginno. Now, you probably never heard that word ginno before, but it means trickster. or supplanter. That is somebody that says he's going to do something and does the opposite. And this is Jonathan Bing's story. When Jonathan Bing was young, they say, he slipped to school and then he ran away. He sat in the meadow and twiddled his thumbs and never learned spelling, grammar, or sums. So now when you tell him add 1 to 2, explain what you mean, he will answer you. Do you mean to more, or that's too bad? And what sort of 1 do you want me to add? For there was 1 before the race was through, for he ran too fast for the rest to run. But if 2 had 1 when the race was through, I'll say your answer was 1 by 2. Oh, Jonathan Bing, you haven't the trick of doing sums and arithmetic. Oh, give me a chance, just 1 more try, said Jonathan Bing with a tear in his eye. Very well, Jonathan, try once more. I want you to count up to 174. 174, said he. Well, that's a great age for a person to be.
How would you like to own a messenger service that when you talk, text, and share videos, you actually get paid? The Punk Panda app is a military-grade encrypted communication app created with the primary goal of protecting you and your content. Addressing the top 3 concerns in people's online life, which is personal privacy, data security, and it allows you to download 15 to 20 minute video. So download your Punk Panda app today from your app store. Use it, share it, own it.
Want to take control of your health? Use June's Healthline with Pure Trim. Pure Trim offers a variety of revolutionary, life-changing products that will not only boost your health, but your mood. Take control of your health with June's Healthline and Pure Trim.
All right, thank you so much, Powerful Steve, for that amazing poem.
Thank
we
you.
all enjoyed it. So I'm sure the viewers would love to know more about your other amazing talents.
Yes, I do have a few of them.
All right, so I understand that you have a clothing line.
Yes, I do have a clothing line, and to make it the simplest way, I decided to wear it today. So this
All
is actually the
right.
clothing line right here. It's a matching tracksuit. I do have some hats as well, and I have some shirts, but I'm wearing the Hugology shirt today because I'm fronting the hugs. You know, and the next thing is I want to get my own shoes as well. The brand, Destiny Leaders shoes, something that's looking kind of like, the shoes I'm wearing now, or a nice kind of running shoes.
Love it. I
Yeah.
really love it. And I like the colors that you choose.
Yeah.
Like, red burgundy is
I
one of my
forgot to
favorites.
turn around and show you the back of it where it says, I am tribe, because that's a movement in itself as well that's attached to another one of my gifts that we'll talk about it a little bit. Yeah.
Beautiful. How do you, can we buy it somewhere?
Well, right now, if you give me a call, we could order it. I actually have to get some more put together and shipped. So yes, you reach out to me. My number is 416-708-5377. My email is lifecoachstevekerr@gmail.com. And you can order. We got some shirts, we got some hats, and we got the full tracksuits right now.
Awesome, because I'm sure a lot of people would love to get it. It looks
Yes, and just to let you
really
guys
stylish.
know, I'm a humanitarian, so it's really it's fundraiser for my nonprofit organization.
All right, that's another.
Yes.
So you started a nonprofit organization too.
Yes, I started a nonprofit organization. It's called All One Missions, and essentially it's a humanitarian. So I do a lot of feeding the homeless and so forth, but I like to educate people as well on discovering their gifts. And so from a business perspective, I have the for-profit end, which is Destiny Leaders Academy, and then for the nonprofit, I have All One Missions, where it's helping people get off the street, get re-educated if it's needed, computer skills if it's needed, and take the time to find out what their gifts and talents are and teach them how to monetize it.
Wow, that's very, very needed services for sure.
Yes.
Awesome. So I also understand that you're author of 9 books, 2 of which are published.
Yes, and silly me, I actually have one of the books, my first published book, in the car, but I forgot to bring it in. It's called Who Am I? Maps to Your Success. And I'm actually working on a training module for that as well and put it online to help people. Once again, the people that I can't engage one-on-one, they'll be able to go online and to utilize the information in the book to help them discover who they are in God, and so they can also monetize it as well. And so that's my first published book. I published another book. My second published book is a children's book, and I do have 5 children's books that I've written. 3 of them is a continuing series. It's Never Over Until I Win. It's about a young lion that, he's being trained to become the king of the jungle, per se, right? Just like the story of the Lion King, but instead I wrote my own story. And I'm hoping that eventually I'll have it animation as well, voiceover, all of that fun stuff.
Wow. Awesome. And also you are the Guinness Book Award-winning author. Tell us about that.
I was a part of 100, and I'm trying to remember now, it's about 130 authors that came together, and we wrote a chapter in one book, and then we got the Guinness Book of people to come to verify that it's the most authors ever in a room, and we all signed our name to the book simultaneously, breaking the old record of like 114 authors. Now it's something like 130 authors. And I'm sure there's somebody now trying to do 140, 150. Because these authors, they came from all over the world. And so I was a part of that, and I'm just happy that, I'm into history books from that perspective.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. Well, and you also are international inspirational speaker.
Yes, I took my speaking ability, as you heard. I was 8 years old when I spoke on stage for the first time. I'm 57 years old now, so essentially I have been speaking for 49 years.
Wow.
Yes, so there's a lot of experience there. It's one of my talents, and it's one of my passion as well. And so I got the opportunity to go to all over America. I've been to Africa 4 times, twice to Nigeria, once to South Africa, once to Egypt. And I'm actually planning on getting back to Africa again. If not next year, the year after, I have some stops to make in Kenya, in Ghana, and also Nigeria again.
Oh, those are all of the countries I want to visit too.
Yes, okay.
Maybe we'll go together.
Hey, let's do it. Let's book it together. Anybody out there that want to come, direct message me, because I love to travel with positive people that want to do things throughout the world. So holler at me and we'll go together.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get a good team. with us.
Yes, build a team. That's right. Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you're also a spiritual leader and soon to be ordained as a pastor.
That is true. I have been actually operating in that field because, they say you ought to be doing the work before somebody recognizes. I was an ordained minister in 1990. And essentially, I, was on the choir for 9 years. I was a Sunday school teacher for 8 years. I was the president and vice president of the youth department. I became a youth pastor, but I was never ordained as a pastor. And so officially of August the 10th, which is just a little over a month from now, I'll be going to Ohio to be ordained in an organization that's called Shepherd to Shepherd. I was recommended by my overseer of the church that I'm a part of right now, which is House of God International Prayer Ministry, where the senior pastor is Pastor Sharon Gludd, and the overseer is Prophet Daniel. And so he recommended me to be ordained as a pastor.
That's such an honor.
Yes,
Oh my God.
it is an honor. It is the greatest honor to serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But hey, serve in the giftings and the talents in which is in you. Not everybody can be a pastor.
Definitely.
Yes.
I would agree with that. But you're also a chaplain. Tell us what's the difference?
Yes, I'm also a chaplain, and so the chaplaincy now, I can operate in any government building, whether it be a hospital, whether it be a police station or fire station, on the street. I actually did this where, I should have actually brought my badge too and showed you guys, because you have to have the credentials so the police know and things like that. But if you come across an accident on the street, you can actually go out and find out if the person is a believer in Christ and if they want any spiritual guidance just before you put them in the ambulance. So it's not something that you're going to have some kind of preaching session on the side of the road when the person needs to go to the hospital. It really needs to be condensed within 90 seconds, that type of thing. You don't hold it up, but they will allow, the police and the ambulance, they will allow you to administer to the person if they request it, because the person might not make it to the hospital.
That's
right? And they might need to do a little bit of prayer and their last rites or whatever it is that they need to say, forgiveness and things like that. So yeah, so the chaplaincy allows me to operate in government buildings, and the chaplaincy is registered in Canada and the United States.
Amazing.
Thank you.
You're also a track and field coach.
Yes, that's a passion. I grew up running track, run, Forrest, run. Yeah, I was a runner myself. I ran 100, 200, and 400, and I was a long jumper. And so for the last 18 years of my life, I have been actually coaching kids and helping them to, the stepping stones in their life, helping them to get to the next journey, scholarships, and hopefully some of them get to represent their country, Canada, at the World Championships, the Pan Am Games, the Commonwealth Games, and the big one, of course, the Olympics. And to date, I have 5 athletes that I've helped in their process of coaching that's gone to the Olympics.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every time you say something, I'm like, oh my God, like what else is out? Like how many talents can you have? Wow. And also community activists. Tell us about that.
Yes. Community activists is when you see things that's going on in your community and you say, hey, we want to make a change, right? So you do rallies and stuff like that. There's a lot of systemic racism that's in the school system and so forth. And so, I have friends, Idris and Kathy McDonald's, that, we put things together and we talk to the school board, we talk to our governments, because, if you feel that your rights and privileges as a Canadian is being trampled on, you got to speak up. Right? Because the only way that darkness prevails is when light chooses not to shine. Matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but science says darkness is the absence of light. That's the only way you can define darkness. So everybody really should be a community activist.
I totally agree with that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So next talent of yours or aspiration is a political figure, I hear. And I heard you ran twice for city council.
That is true.
Care to share that experience with us?
The funny thing is, I didn't set out to do that. Essentially, I just had a dream. And in the dream, it was a friend of mine named Garnet Manning. And so I went to him. I told him that I had a dream. And in the dream, it says, I was supposed to come and ask you, what do you want me to do? And so when I was telling him this, he told me that he decided to run for mayor. And so I was really excited and everything. My friend is running for mayor. And so essentially, I said, okay, how can I help you? What do you want me to do? And he says, I want you to put your name in the hat. I go, no. I'm not interested. No, you're running for mayor. I want to get on your campaign. I want to help you. He goes, Steve, the best thing that you could do for me right now is to put your name in the hat and run for city council. And so I actually went to God and I prayed about it, and God said yes. And so I paid my $100 and there I am. I was running for city council for wards 2 and 6. I had no idea what to do. Garnet Manning, he became my mentor and helped me along the way. And in that, I came 6th actually, and that happened in 2010. I came 6th, and then in 2014, I actually put my name in the hat, a little wiser, a little smarter. I ran a tighter campaign, and I actually came 2nd. I almost dethroned the incumbent at that time, but the incumbent got back in, and it was through that second time, I got over 4,000 votes. That's when I became a community activist or a public figure. And a lot of people then started to come to me. And I tell you, you meet so many people through the campaign. I don't remember names now, Irina. I really have challenges. I met about 8,000 people in around 2 months' time, knocking
Wow.
on doors, meeting people at Walmart, on the side of the road, all of that. It was going heavy. But nonetheless, people would say hi to me. I would say hi to them, and I'm saying, sorry, I don't remember your name. But the key thing is the work is being done.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the most important. And that's quite an accomplishment. It is. So
Thank
kudos
you.
for having the courage to do it and wanting to
appreciate
be
it
there
very
and to
much.
help people, because I know that's your drive behind it. So,
Yeah.
well, seems like you're just a man of many, many talents, and you wear multiple hats, and that's amazing and commendable. I really, and I'm sure the viewers, it was really, really interesting to hear and know more about you. But unfortunately, we did run out of time. Because I think if we didn't, we probably could go on, right? You probably have a few more talents and things. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your experiences with us. It was a pleasure to finally interview you.
Right. And I want to ask you guys right now, how did Queen I do as the host today? Put your hands together for a wonderful host. You do an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank each and every one of you for listening in. The TV audience, I want to thank you all for tuning in to GOlive TV and Holy TV. I really do appreciate it, guys. You validate us being here. I'm asking you if you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Facebook, and make a comment or two. If you find the content is valuable, make a comment. If you have a subject matter that you want us to discuss, please reach out and share it with me. If you like to be a guest on the show, please reach out to me. My number is 416-708-5377. Come give me a hug, guys. Come give me a hug. I'm going to ask all the guests right now to come. We're ready to close. We do our traditional hugs. Hugology is alive, guys. There's the shirt right there. Once again, this is also for fundraiser. If you're interested in getting a Hugology shirt, you could reach out to me. 4 hugs a day for survival, 8 hugs a day for growth, 12 hugs a day for maintenance, 16 hugs a day for enlightenment, and Mama June is in the room, 12 hugs a day for supernatural occurrences, which is a miracle. So I want to thank you guys for keeping us on the air. You guys validate us being here. This is the 9th episode. We got 14 episodes to do, and we want you to be a part of them. I want to thank you for tuning in. Queen, thank you once again for being such an amazing host.
Thank you.
I'm Powerful Steve, the king of inspiration. And remember, aim high, spread wings, fly. Want to give me a hug, Mark?